Hi everyone, I'm Irene. Are you enjoying the summit and the presentation so far? I'm really enjoying so much. And I have been attending the SAN Security Awareness Summit for almost 6 years, and this is my second year in person, but my first time being a speaker. So I'm a bit nervous, but I will do my best. Thank you. So I'm here to present about challenges and solutions for building a cybersecurity culture in a complex organization. So let's go for that. So a few months ago, I ran a live workshop about business email compromise. That's because we had seen a rise in this kind of incidents in our company, like real threats, and using also deep fakes voice attacks targeting our people. So I built a session with practical tips for our colleagues, like how to spot a business email compromise, um, real examples or case studies, and things that they can do right now to protect themselves. And after the session, I checked the, the chat, and there were some really nice messages like, thank you for the interesting session. Was very useful and great training. Thank you so much. And I was super happy that it was insightful and useful for my colleagues. But then I continued reading the messages and the chat, and there was less positive messages like, is there a way to opt out from getting these phishing training emails? These phishing training emails are so annoying. I just ignored them. And there's way too easy. I never fall for one. And my face was like, okay. So yeah, this is my daily life as cybersecurity culture and competence manager, but probably resonate with some of you. But first, I want to introduce myself a little bit. So I'm Irene, and I'm a Spaniard living in Finland with my husband, my 3 years old son, almost 3 years old son, and my dog, and probably as you notice, probably uh, a new team member will join us in November. And it's really funny because I, like my family or my colleagues at KONE say they have never reused a password. I say that I never, there's no way that I've been ever had another baby in November in Finland. That is the darkest month, but I'm going to have another one in November. So yeah, never say never, I suppose. But yeah, that's like with that I learned with the business email compromise session. I learned that sometimes behavior is messy. So like my behavior. So yeah, I've been working in cybersecurity awareness for almost 7 years. I started in consulting at Deloitte and PwC. Back then, at the beginning, cybersecurity awareness was often a free add-on service. But that changed really quickly. And in just a few months or 1 year, cybersecurity awareness became a key part of the cybersecurity strategy. And also, as cybersecurity awareness expert, we realized that awareness isn't the goal, but that culture and behavioral change are. But then it's been also like very, to be honest, fascinating to witness the evolution and even the revolution in this area, at least in Europe, in the cybersecurity awareness. But then I moved to Finland, as I mentioned, and I joined KONE, that is a human risk management platform that it's really cool. And I worked during these years at Deloitte, PwC, at KONE with dozens of companies around the world, big and small, mature, less mature. Some of these companies had like full awareness teams, and others had this poor IT guy that got volunteers to send 3 phishing emails and 2 infographics per year. But I always knew that I wanted to switch sides, so I just that I wanted to also own the strategy and to build a cybersecurity culture awareness program, not only advise or guide companies in their culture program. And that opportunity came at KONE. So I joined KONE almost 1 year ago to lead the global cybersecurity culture and competence program. And just to give you some context, KONE was founded in 1610, and we move over 2 billion people via escalators and elevators every day, and with over 60K employees in nearly 60 countries over the world. Scales matters. So from the beginning, I saw great things at KONE, like a TISO who really support the cybersecurity culture program that was super open to new things and new initiatives and be out of the box. And leadership asking about human risk initiatives. Also, the cybersecurity was embedded into the company's core strategy. And the cybersecurity team was really involved. Like they were like always volunteer for like the different cybersecurity awareness activities and even the cybersecurity week. But I had worked with so many companies and these big and massive companies, and even if KONE is not that massive, it is still like quite complex, to be honest. So I knew the possible challenge, and I'm going to list some of them, like, and maybe that it's going to resonate with some of you, like lack of clear strategy or framework, over reliance on PC metrics, inconsistent communication channels, low employee engagement or trust, no behavior-based measurement, cultural and regional fragmentation, and difficulty reaching, for example, blue-collar workers. So raise your hand if you have faced one of these challenges in awareness in your, so yeah, you feel the pain probably. But to be honest, leaving them from the inside, owning the entire program across different regions and departments, it's a whole different story. And it was a huge challenge. So when you arrive somewhere new, like a country or a city or a company, what do you usually do first? Probably you explore, you ask, you read about it, you listen to people, to talk to people. So I did that when I joined KONE. I needed and I wanted to understand KONE's culture. What was like the strategy, its priority, what people really care about it, what motivates them. And only then I can get like a true perspective or a better picture about the company. But this is, to be honest, an ongoing work because, as you probably know, culture isn't a checklist and it's evolved with the people and with war and the business and, for example, like new realities like AI. So today I want to share with you 3 challenges that I've been facing at KONE and what I have learned from facing them and what I've been doing or I'm doing to face them. And they are correlated, and something that a conclusion that I can give you in advance is that there is no a single way of doing things. We had like an amazing presentation that already covers some of these challenges in a different way that I'm going to present now. So I already learned and inspired me like for new ideas that I want to try. So I hope that this challenge inspired you to give you like new ideas or at least help you that you feel that you are not alone. So the first one is, how do we turn awareness into culture? And I know that this is like a really big question that maybe can take like the whole day. But this is a challenge that I have observed in so many companies, but across like different organizations, not only at KONE. So when we ask for the program metrics to understand better their maturity culture and in general their cybersecurity culture is, the answer was the phishing fail rate and the mandatory training completion rate. And to be honest, that was a surprise because KONE is strongly committed with to cybersecurity and supporting employees. So we had, I can give you some example. We have an annual activity clock with really amazing activities. And I can tell you that we try absolutely everything that is in your mind, like comics and games and posters, infographics, cybersecurity escape rooms. So we we always try new things, and we have also a cybersecurity portal that it's beautiful and it's really cool and it's really packed with an amazing and interesting content. And we have for example monthly intranet articles like in the global intranets, and quarterly cyber talks that we have like keynote speakers, that we also have a lot of people from the cybersecurity team and our cybersecurity champions community giving these talks. We have also cybersecurity newsletter for the leadership that they really want to know about like our metrics and the news. And then we also have the mandatory cybersecurity course that I know it's mandatory, but we are a big organization and we need to comply with compliant regulation. So we have it, but I can tell you that the content is really good. And we also have a AI-driven adaptive phishing training. So I don't need to really be worried about the phishing training because it's already part of our company culture. And so yeah, we have like amazing content, but what was missing? The first thing is that we didn't have like a behavior catalog. It was something, because when I joined, I started to ask around, try to collect and organize every available metric to create a clear picture of where we were. And we didn't have like a strategy behind the content. So yeah, we had this high quality content and ongoing initiatives. Yeah, we have a lot of great activities, but there was no answer to key questions like why this topic, why this month, why this channel, who is the audience, and what is the goal of this initiative, or what is like the behavior that you want to change or influence, or what do you want to achieve with this initiative or content. So in short, we were missing a strategic foundation because human risk hadn't been clearly identified, measured, or managed. So we also identify that the only awareness metric regularly shared with the leadership was the phishing training, that while it's like important or at least easy to report, it's not, it doesn't represent really well like the state for our culture of our engagement. So, and we also saw that a heavy reliance on Cybersecurity Week to deliver like the core message of the year. And we know that cyber resilience and culture change required like continuous engagement and not just one moment of attention. So we were missing like a clear why behind all these initiatives that we had at KONE. And in Spain, we have a saying that it's killing flies with a cannon for this. So the second part is, what did we do? We have started measuring properly. So I took the Sun Security Awareness Roadmap and create a human risk framework adapted to KONE. We define metrics that were relevant for our company, and also with the information and the tools and the data that we have available in our company. And we also set a score, we create a dashboard, and then we create a behavior catalog linked to results. And the second part, it was because for me, I think that the easiest part was to create this human risk framework, but the hard part was that the security awareness team cannot work in isolation, so need to collaborate with other teams. So for example, we need the collaboration from the cybersecurity operations, threat intelligence, access and tool teams. And I think that this is critical and sometimes it's a bit difficult. And then we also need consistency and patience. And for example, measuring monthly, tracking fluctuation and averaging annually. So we are just starting, but we have a vision. So by 2026, we aim to have a strategic, data-driven culture program where we can identify human risks globally and create targeted strategies with precise goals based on behaviors. And this is where we are heading. Not just awareness, but real organizational change. And that for sure takes time, but it's how we move from activities to actual impact. And the second challenge that I want to bring today is the geographic, cultural, and role fragmentation. And yeah, that was a really huge one because with over 60,000 employees in nearly 70 countries, this is a big puzzle. And I'm going to present that we are segmenting in 3 different layers. So for sure we have countries and regions, so different policies, protocols, and processes. But then culture adds a huge layer of complexity and different ways of processing information, of learning and doing things. And for me, the most complicated one is roles in the case of KONE, because we have office staff, local and internal roles, global roles, customer-facing roles, technical roles, but we also have a lot of blue-collar workers that sometimes are not included in the cybersecurity culture strategies and program. So we have elevator technicians, supply chain teams, frontline employees, call centers, and they don't even have a mobile or a mobile corporate phone. We also have a lot of externals. So every time that I try to map up this in my mind, I need to take a break. And because, yeah, 60K employees, it's many roles, many cultures, multiple realities. So to reach them, we need empathy, but we need segmentation, and we need a lot of creativity. So what are we doing to solve this? The first is that we can simplify this, to be honest. We have to embrace the complexity because the real impact depends on it. And when I realized how fragmented our employee base was by geography, culture, or role, I knew that traditional segmentation wouldn't work. So I stopped thinking in terms of regions or teams or business units, and I start thinking like map maker. And here is how we have started organizing the chaos. So the first thing is that we are trying to build personas, not just organizational charts. So I started identifying real user types based on their access, environment, and daily workflow, not just their title or country. So for example, a factory worker with no digital access, or elevator technician who works mostly mobile, or for example, global office staff that have email and Teams. And each persona gets a different communication approach and a strategy, and this helps to move from mass messaging to targeted strategies. So based on access, risk, behaviors, and their reality. The second is that we want to use behavior and risk signals and not assumptions, because that's something that I used to see when I work with different companies. So instead of segmentation by what we think that people need to know, we want to use insight from our human risk framework to identify actual behaviors and patterns that matter for our company. And the third one is to cooperate with local teams. And it's something that we already saw like in previous presentation, that I really like this concept because it's something that we are trying at KONE. So I don't define the segment alone. I validate with like regional contacts. For example, frontline managers, because they know their people, their rhythm, and their blind spots. And this is not only help us to tailor the message, it's build trust and ownership. And this is the third and the last challenge that I wanted to bring today, that is, where are the communication channels? I'm still figuring it out. But from my experience with working with many companies, communication strategy is essential. So I have applied human behavior science and marketing, psychology, and pedagogy to communication strategies. And I have worked with multidisciplinary teams. And I also learned some graphic design basics. So I have faced many communication challenges that probably resonate with all of you. I can list some of them, like information overload and saturation, over-reliance on email, crowded intranet with hard to find content, and long text-heavy technical content and messaging, or content that relates with a clear strategy or target audience. So when I joined KONE, I faced something similar, but at the same time different, because the problem was the absence of usable channels. Yeah, we use Teams, so therefore we use SharePoint. That means that we have endless numbers of intranets and pages and portals and sites across regions, teams, countries, departments. So they are technically there, but the problem is that they are unfindable and unused. So for example, our beautiful cybersecurity portal packed with a lot of interesting content, well, we have less than 100 visits per month. And for example, like our global intranet articles, well, we are lucky if we reach at least 400 people with the articles. And for example, Viva Engage, that is our social media platform in our company, even the CEO post rarely reach 100 reactions. And what about email? Well, email for us it's a bit complicated because we have a lot of blue-collar workers that they don't have email. So we cannot reach everyone through this channel. And also given how large and fragmented the company is, if we want, for example, to reach all the staff, for example, if we are going to organize a cybersecurity talk or a cybersecurity workshop that it's really relevant and interesting for the staff members that have a laptop, we need to gather multiple distribution lists across different regions and communication managers. And sometimes, to be honest, those lists are incomplete. For example, newcomers or external workers might be missing. So we don't have 100% of reach of effectiveness. So yeah, I found myself asking, how do I reach 60,000 people with no reliable channels? And to be honest, that question has changed the way I think about internal communication, because it's not about pushing information, it's more about understanding the internal ecosystem. I made some question, like I made myself some question like, how do people receive information in their day-to-day work? Or what do pay attention to, or what do they trust, until we understand that we are just making noise, in my opinion. So what are we doing? We stop creating content and we start creating connections. So we made a change in our approach or a strategy, and we stopped investing time in those channels that reach less than 1% of our people. And we realized also that we can drive cultural change from a SharePoint site. So we stop and ask, where do our colleagues actually communicate? Where do they get their information? And third, what are the real communication rhythms? This led to a change in our strategy and grounded in listening and connection. So the first, it was that we are trying to build real connections with regional communication teams, as I already mentioned in the previous challenge. So we identify communication contacts in every region and introduce our cybersecurity strategy, culture, vision, and most important, we focus on how we could support them. So we didn't come with ask, we came with value. The second is that we wanted to learn about the reality. So we listened to how cybersecurity and communication happen on the ground. So what channels really work in each country or unit, and what corners do people actually follow. And we started showing up in those spaces. So we wanted to bring cybersecurity message in ways that felt more natural to them and also more human and helpful. And the third point that we are trying is to, that also we have been trying it, to make cybersecurity culture visible and approachable and relevant. So our goal wasn't to be a global awareness initiatives floating above the business. We want the cybersecurity to feel embedded, a natural, trusted part of our daily operation. So something that people see as theirs, not something done to them. And the last point that we are working on is that we are now focusing on understanding the real work. So where possible, we have started to engaging directly with the different communities, because also in our company we are organized also in different communities rather than business units or teams, and we are making us question like, what does they look like for a technician in the field, or for a factory operator, or for a finance analyst, or a sales representative? And this reframe everything for us, because it's not longer about how do we get people to care about cybersecurity. Now we ask, how can cybersecurity support what they already do without friction? And how do we integrate secure behaviors into the flow or the of their real work? So cybersecurity culture is not built with phishing simulation or policies, even they are also super important. But in our case, we learned that it's built through trust and relevance and connections. And we are working on that. So to wrap up, just a few key points. So start by understanding before proposing, measuring, or even acting. Try to listen to the business and its people, and build relationships, not campaigns, and segment based on your reality. And for that, you need to really understand your company and your people. measure what truly matters for your company and your organization and for your people. And don't speak louder, speak better. So use the right messages in the right channels, or probably you won't reach anyone that we have been doing. So that's all from my side today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you learned something or you find the presentation insightful. And I'm really looking forward to connect with all of you in person or online and continue this conversation and share insights and experience facing this kind of challenge. So thank you so much.